Hello my friends. So I thought I'd do something a little different in this video today. I thought I would point out a lot of well-established YouTubers and also some new YouTubers. So there was a video that inspired this by a lady who is very well established in the YouTube community, and she gave a very long list of all these YouTubers who she recommended. Unfortunately, most, if not all of these YouTubers were already well established and had more than 1,000 subscribers apiece. So that's not the goal of this video. The goal of this video is to bring attention to new YouTubers, people who are just coming into the scene or maybe being discovered and have been around for quite a while. I think that there are a lot of voices out there that we just don't hear because we don't have access to them, and YouTube doesn't really have a way to give us all these new YouTubers because there's so many new YouTubers popping up every day. So here is a list of some of the new YouTubers that I have come across, and I hope you enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, YouTube land. Kendra Avermoon here. And this topic I want to speak to you about being an occultist. Now, as most of you know, and if you read anything in my profiles, I do peg myself, or part of my status is saying that I am an occultist. And to clarify that, yes, I was born pagan. My religious or spiritual path has changed on and off over the years, but you can peg me as Wiccan or Wiccan-like if you wish. However, my nature, my study, and my research is of the occult.
Times I've done a video and then it's just said unable to upload video. Video doesn't exist. Blah blah blah. Anyway, hopefully I'll be doing some more review videos soon. I've got a new tarot deck and it is the Victorian Fairy Tarot, which I am just cleansing on my altar. It will be good to do a review of that. Can't promise regular videos because, you know, life is a bit nuts at the moment, but I would like to come on more often. If I could do once a week, that'd be good. So I hope you're keeping okay. I'm going to try and upload this to YouTube, and I will be so pleased when it does actually work. I hope you're all staying well, and blessed be.
I was actually just an empath, and I was reading these emotions, and that's what was causing a lot of difficulty for me to figure out how to cope, and that's why I was having more difficulty than the other kids. I realized the things that I would see every now and then were actually people's auras. It wasn't just some weird thing that my eyes were doing.
Well, my mom has always been really aware that I was just not a normal kid in any sense of the word. I always thought of things weirdly and didn't think the same way as others and never really did the same things as others. I don't think she ever worried about me getting like drawn into a cult.
And process of mine, in the very beginning, I remember, you know, I knew that I was gifted. I just didn't know to what extent. All I knew is that I was just trying to understand, you know, why I was the way I was and why, you know, why can I do these things and my sister isn't.
Yeah, that was it. It's not very exciting, I'm afraid. It was just, I don't know what you would call it. It was just a natural progression from what I was already doing and interested in into, I wouldn't even say a more formal way of living. It's not nothing formal about it. It's still informal.
I opened a tab for every other link on that page, and every time I read something I didn't believe in, I pressed X, because I wasn't researching religion just to research religion. I was doing it to find myself, to see if any of these things if I actually even had a religion. I'm just like, it has to be something I already believe in, and it has to have holidays. Those were my two requirements.
Would spark my interest and would click for me. And so at the time that I left Wicca and I was down this road to find out more about where I came from, where my ancestors came from, I discovered that I was really drawn to the Celts.
Things like that. And before I had attended a lot of different church groups and attended different churches and stuff, just for the community aspect of it, as a child and as a young adult and whatever. And I started taking some like religious theology classes and things like that. And that was, pre like internet stuff. So.
Don't really know what Wicca is, but I'm sensing it's kind of got to be related if it's, thrown in the recommended, video sidebar for video about paganism. So I watched it, and it really seemed, the more she was talking, the more I was like, yes, because everything she was saying.
And said, I was going through my local Barnes and Nobles, and I found the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. I read that. I practiced that for a couple years. And I was missing that spirituality part. Well, I ended up meeting some Wiccans, and one I think was Dianic.
Yeah, chaos magic fascinates me, as does ceremonial magic. I don't consider myself to be either of those, though, even though I read a lot about them and may incorporate things into my practice. I ain't got all that shit you need to be a ceremonial magician. I'm just like, oh my god, it makes me tired. I'm like, sticks, stones, and bones. I go and find it in my yard.
And druidry and Hellenistic paganism and Kemetic paganism, and there's so many different things to explore and get into that it can almost seem overwhelming. Like you need to find someone to condense all of it down for you and really help you sort through what is, kind of like, this is going to sound rude, but what's kind of BS and what isn't.
I heard the term pagan was in that Dan Brown film, or the Dan Brown book that got made into a film. I don't know if it was a Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons. I think it was the Da Vinci Code, but in one of them it makes reference to pagans, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was something bad.
I find that over the years my faith has evolved. I feel that the more we learn, the more we have to add to what we already know, the more we have to evolve what we do, what we say, who we are.
I think these played a massive part in my childhood, in my upbringing, and it really made an impression on me again. And I think one of the things that I really that drew me to these kinds of things, like I know they're supposed to be evil and everything, but it was the whole aspect of, powerful women.
There was a book called Celtic Magic by DJ Conway in it. Now, it's not the best book, and I didn't know it at the time, of course, but it's essentially fiction. It makes up a lot about what the Celtic people did with their religious life and about their culture, and it's really based on part, I think, fantasy and part bad scholarship that's now been.
And it was difficult for me to understand why he was gone when I was 12. Excuse me. And it wasn't until I was 14 when I read The Mists of Avalon. And I know that there's a lot of controversy around the author and people banned the book, but that was a really powerful read for me. It was one of those soul-changing books.
Like I felt like something had gone off in my head, and my ways of thinking were going to be changed, and were changed. So I asked if I could look at the book. I looked through it and everything, and after that I started checking out every book I could in the library about it. Pretty much, all we had was books on Wicca, a couple of books on Wicca.
Series and a bunch of other books. And I discovered modern paganism because I had read the Secret Circle series and I had wanted to write something similar. And I was 12 or 13, so basically I was writing fan fiction that was kind of not really fan fiction. And in the course of that, I discovered Scott Cunningham's books and some others.
All in one book, even though we all have stacks and stacks of books. This has all kinds of color. It has charts, you know, 1 page or whatever of charts for all of the different correspondences. Colors, daily influences, smudges, and some short recipes for smudges, for oils, and for
going on, but it felt kind of like a hugging, like, you're back, you're welcome. And so the owner was doing tarot card readings, and I didn't do a reading at the time. Although my friend who did get it didn't give good reviews. He said it was awfully general. And, like, my thing is I'm like, well, if you ask for a general reading, you're kind of going to get general responses.
Egyptian geranium. And it stinks. I'm not even going to smell it again. It's musky, and it smells like geranium, but it stinks. Not a fan of it. Again, I have not used any of these. A lot of these were bought in preparation to use it for something else.
I'm an extremely very open person. I believe that if you decide to marry someone or be with someone in a partnership, there shouldn't be a specific structure about who does what, just due to their sex. It's like, you know what, it's your marriage or your partnership, it should be a team effort. It's like you're on a team with somebody, and it shouldn't be you, myself, and I, or the other person gets degraded, that kind of thing.
So this is just a brief list of some of the newest YouTubers that I have come across, and I encourage you to give a shout out to other YouTubers who you know who are trying to get noticed, who have under 1,000 subscribers. I really want to encourage new people who don't have that many subscribers to get some attention. Although a lot of these great YouTubers who have 1,000 or more subscribers, who have an established base, are great YouTubers and have some great information, the goal of this particular video is to bring attention to people who are up and coming and are not that well exposed right now. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, and blessed be.